is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
Happy New Year. Welcome to the iRacing Esports Network for the BSR MX5 Cup from Road America. Chaz Draycott and Tom Jacobs here with you, with Alex Simpson on the cameras. We're back for our first broadcast of the year on New Year's Day. Really looking forward to this series. Tom always providing some fantastic racing, and it's great to be back in the booth with you again.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. Hello to Alex and Chaz, and hello to everyone at home. Yeah, we should have some exciting racing for 2019, and I look forward to this race in particular at Road America. It's always provides some close and decent racing. So yeah, let's have some fun.
And as always, we'll be looking at the slipstream to be the provider of such great racing tonight. It's always something we talk about during these broadcasts. And Alex, just bring you in as well. It should be a real sort of leveler for everybody here, because so many long straights and opportunities for overtaking at Road America. It should be a good laugh, this one.
Fantastic circuit for racing. Never a dull meeting, I think, when we come here. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Obviously, massive slipstreaming going to go on today. Loads of overtaking, I'm sure. 4 great races. I'm sure we'll have some wrecks. So bit of everything for everyone out there.
And of course, as Alex says, sorry if I can get my words out, there are 4 races tonight, 4 15-minute sprints, so there's no shortage of action, plenty of reverse grids as well, and obviously we get our reverse grid wheel between races, which I'm sure Alex is very excited to get back out again for the first time in 2019. Tom, last time out was a bit of a busy meeting for these guys. It was quite a frantic one as always, but it was very, very close. I mean, some of the guys that were up there were sort of the people you'd expect. I mean, Ash Sutton taking 2 wins, Michael Hall taking a win for CQR as well. But in qualifying at the moment, it seems like it's not that straightforward for those guys. There's actually quite a nice mix up there. Yeah,
we've seen some decent times from the guys at the front. Currently got Anwar Beryl Smith, who's at the top. Along with him, Brian Holmes and Nathan Davis. So, yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting round. This course can be really tricky. Road America isn't one of my personal favourites, but yeah, it seems to be more suited to the more powerful GT3 and GTE sort of cars. But I think for MX5s, it could also provide some great racing, as this series always seems to.
And there's a good few names up there as well from the AM category that we normally see. Mr. Jordan Giddings, of course, will be happy with that. He's on pole in the AM category at the moment for Beast Racing, still on track as it goes. He's got Craig Jones behind him for Result Clothing, and his teammate David Ayres is 3rd in the AM category at the moment. They're 13th, 14th, and, well, now 17th respectively, as the positions change. Not long to go until the session is over here. Just trying to have a quick look on my screen. It seems just having a bit of an issue with my my cameras right now. Actually, I've not got any images at all. It seems I can't see any cars for some reason. Sorry, lads. I've just everything's just completely disappeared for me. 1 second. I'll have to go. Yeah, I'll be right back, boys. 1 sec.
Well, it looks like I'll be taking over then while Chaz sorts out his IT issues. But yeah, I hope you're all ready for a great night of racing this evening. It'll just be me and Alex while Chaz sorts himself out, and it should be quite an interesting one. We've got Anwar Beryl Smith at the moment, who's on pole as we come towards the end of qualifying now, with Brian Holmes behind him. So a lot of the guys we normally see at the top not quite there at the moment, but I'm sure they'll get up there. Alex, and what's your opinion on Road America? I'm sure you've done a few races around here in your time.
Do you know what? I think it's actually probably, don't know if it's my favourite. Might be. It's pretty close to being my favourite track on the surface. That's for sure. I really love it. So I don't know what comes close to it. Maybe like Watkins, things like that. You know, there's the obvious F1 circuits and things like that. That you know, you can can sort of say, oh yeah, great, but actually I think this is one of the best.
Yeah, it always provides some good racing. I think I've just had bad luck with it. I remember I took the Cadillac round here for one of those events a few months ago, and didn't get on too well with it. But it seems to be a tricky one to master, and I'm sure that everyone who's raced it on iRacing will tell you, as in real life as well. But yeah, I think it could provide some good MX5 racing here for us tonight. Of course, as Chaz said, the slipstreaming will come into play, especially down that really long back straight. So we'll have to see how we get on there, Alex.
Yeah, indeed. Really, yeah. Like I say, I think we're going to have 4 great races. Bit of everything for everyone. So yeah, obviously we have to wait for the race server and the grid and things like that. And I think we might have that now. I don't know if we have Chaz back, but
you do.
Go on, mate. Over to you then.
Here we go. Anwar Smith and Brian Holmes for Excite Energy Esports take the front row, with Nathan Davis third and Luke Cooper for Swift Cooper Esports is fourth. Robert Hartley, good to see him racing for Excite Energy Esports tonight. If you don't know Robert, he has over 9,000 I rating and is probably the best MX5 racer on the service. Cesare Rizzo 6th, Pete Newman 7th with Dave Hampson 8th. Dave's been really quick so far. He's actually now an pro driver. I think he was AM recently. Oscar Wilde on our screen, that is Kip Stevens. Let's not make that mistake. Jack McIntyre 10th with Steve Hefford and Jason Cooper in 12th. Jack McIntyre, the highest SimLab car, in 10th there actually. Jordan Giddings for Beast Racing, highest AM. Max Wright, then Craig Jones, Adam McNally. David Ayres and Benjamin Mears, 17th and 18th, make up an AM 9th row. Mikael Garcia and Lawn Murray round out your top 20. They're followed by Mick Barry and Carl Jacquelet, Tyler Lugo Vickery and Lewis Morga, Roy Viverke, Nick McHerron, Billy Rose, Rob Graham, Jay Wright and Alan McCain rounds out your top 30. And to fly through the last few, Josh Thompson, Pete Van Gool, Jamie Ayres, Jeroen Ursum, Joe McDonald, Michael Hall, Alex Rivette, Carl Hardy, Anthony Ainsworth and Mikey Key rounds out your 40-car field. And it seems that this is a good opportunity for the Excite boys. They didn't have a fantastic start to the season, but they had a few good races at Watkins Glen last time out. I'm sure Anwar Beryl Smith is going to be playing the right tactics here with his teammate Brian Holmes to try and get to the front of the field and stay there. So the lights are coming on for the first race of 4 this evening. And they're out and they're away. Looked like a good launch by Nathan Davis. It's all about that second gear change there, where you get into just into the rhythm of things with these MX5s. They don't always get off the line that quickly. Look at that massive field streaming down the straight. The 2 Excite cars then into single file into turn 1. Anwar pulling in front of Brian. Doesn't look like any incident on the rundown. There can often be contact. Rizzo is around the outside of Hartley there. Hartley, of course, racing for the Excite Energy Esports team this evening. And it looks, Tom, I think someone's just gone down the order on my time screen. Lewis Morgan's lost a couple of positions. Not quite sure what's happened to him there. But it looks like the slipstreaming is already beginning, Tom. And this is going to get, well, look at this back down further down the order. This is going to get really feisty. Yeah, it will do, won't it? The guys are pretty much in formation at the moment. As we come down off the straight then. And the Excite boys are going now to start trying to make up as much of a gap as they can. The problem that Nathan Davis is going to have is he's got Beryl Smith and Brian Holmes in front of him. They'll be able to work together as a team. But as you say, Chaz, looks like everyone seems to be through relatively cleanly. We're on board with the number 88 car of Nathan Davis, the elusive green P as we call it here on the iRacing Esports Network. And yeah, he just needs to maintain the gap to the guys in front, doesn't he? And to try to force them both into a mistake, because obviously they're going to be able to work together. But apart from that, Chaz, I think everyone seemed to get through quite cleanly for that one. Yeah, it looks like a clean start. The biggest loser so far is Benjamin Mears, previous AM champion. He's down in 34th place, losing 16 positions. But there's none of the SimLab racing cars really that high up. Jack McIntyre's gained 2 places to go 8th, and Steve Hefford's gained 1 to go 10th. But other than that, the next SimLab car I can see is carrying down in 22nd place. So it's a good opportunity, like I said earlier, for these Excite boys to gain some points in the championship on them. But Nathan Davis is going to try and make that difficult for them. We've seen Nathan be flamboyant every single meet we've done. He's around the outside of Brian Holmes there. Nice little manoeuvre into Canada corner. And coming with him, this is going to be Luke Cooper. I always do that, I get them the wrong way around, but there you go, it's easy to do. And Cesare Rizzo is going to try and get in on this as well. Rob Hartley, I've seen him race around this track before, and as you can imagine, Alex, he's going to be quite experienced around here, and he's going to be playing it nice and cool, I reckon.
Rob is a phenomenal driver, of course, in the MX5. He must be getting close to 10k now, surely iRating. So
I believe he is.
Yeah, absolute beast. But of course, not in beast racing, Chaz.
No, not quite. Not quite, but I'm sure we'd be happy to have him if he did make that decision to come over. But you can see now, he's just sort of holding back from this group a little bit. Brian Holmes down to 4th now, and Nathan Davis is in the lead. Oh, two of the CQR cars with Hampson there. That was Newman and Hefford actually went off. It wasn't 2 CQR cars, it's just they were both black and yellow, because one was a SimLab car with yellow wheels. That was Steve Hefford, and Pete Newman has got a really damaged car now. It looks like Steve's got the same issue. Not quite sure what happened there, but Hampson was involved. He went off with them. Whether someone broke a bit early, Tom, or whether they caught the grass is yet to be seen. But it's quite easy to have quite a hefty accident down there, because with the long straights and such high speed, you can easily sort of move over into other cars, can't you?
Yeah, it's been an issue, as I was saying to Alex when you were sorting your IT issues out. It's I've had a few mistakes around here, and I think that's sort of what's tainted my thoughts on this track. But you wouldn't think it with the little MX5. It's got so much momentum, and the brakes are not what you call the best of all the racing cars in the world. So you can carry that immense amount of speed in them when you really get up into top gear, which can obviously then, as we've just seen, cause some issues. But at the moment, then there we go. We got going back to the replay, and there were 3 wide then, coming into turn 1, and I think it just seemed to be 3 cars. Not enough space for all of them. They were all going for one gap that didn't really exist. So unfortunate for those guys, but obviously we've got a few more races to come up after this one. I'm sure they'll be looking to make up some pace. But if we look at our timing screens now, Anwar Beryl-Smith and Nathan Davis, and going very wide there, as well as Mr. Cooper as well. They're trying to make a bit of a gap here now, Chaz, and it seems to be only Luke Cooper that's really sort of keeping with them at the moment. But they're still fighting for the lead as Nathan Davis now goes into P1, and he pushes it out wide again. So yeah, I think we've got a really great battle on our hands here for the first race of 2019.
Yeah, you've just got to be tactical about it, and on a track where there is so much slipstream involved. We've of course seen quite a lot of tracks where we do always talk about slipstream with the MX5, but Road America is one that really stands out for it. You can just see at the top of the screen, by the way, the little Pro and Am designations. Anyone with a green strip next to their position on the left-hand side in what we call our timing tower is an Am driver, and the blue is a Pro. So Jordan Giddings leading the Am standings at the moment, with Jones and Garcia 2nd and 3rd, be it 11th, 13th and 14th overall, as side-by-side for the lead. Anwar Smith down the inside, Nathan Davis, Luke Cooper's trying to go with him. You could hear Brian Holmes sort of lifting off the throttle down there, actually, Tom. He's just playing it safe not to get too close to the back of these guys, because you want to try and get almost like a slingshot, don't you, when you get the slipstream? You don't want to be right behind them coming out the corner.
No, that's something that you don't want, and we've seen it tactically from drivers such as we've had it from Josh Thompson. We saw it even a little bit as well from Adam McNally when we went to Brazil a few races ago last season. So yeah, you want to be tactical about it. You don't necessarily want to be the car in front, especially around a track like this, because as we say, the slipstream comes into play so much. But as the guys come down to the corner now, they're in formation. Nathan Davis out in front. The Excite boys having a little bit of argy-bargy. You've got Luke Cooper in there as well, and Brian Holmes. And I've got to say it, Chaz, where they're all fighting, it's now backing them up into this massive pack. So this here really is anyone's guess, but it's what we wanted. It is nice, clean and hard racing. Yeah,
you've got the likes of Jason Cooper now getting involved as well. Jack McIntyre in the SimLab car, the black and purple machine there. And then the Excite Energy Esports team owner, Adam McNally's getting in on this as well. He's gained 7 places to get up onto the back of this fight. So he's done a great job so far as Mr. McNally. But Anwar Smith still out in front as it stands. He's doing a great job of standing his ground. And Kip Stevens is also coming onto the back of this train as well in the other Swift Cooper Esports car. So like you say, it is anybody's guess as Nathan Davis down the inside into the kink. That's going to be focused in for Anwar Smith at least. Nearly making contact. Nathan never scared to put in a move, and Rob Hartley now is coming to the fore in the other Excite Energy Esports car. There's Rizzo on the grass around the outside using every bit of surface that he can find. A 2x2 into Canada corner. Rob Hartley down the inside. Rizzo gets a bump from Anwar. And they're still side by side going into the last few corners here. This is great stuff. Bright yellow car, bright green car. Well, on my screen it's bright yellow anyway for Rob Hartley. down the inside into the final corner. Looks like Nathan's just trying to hang it around the outside. He's doing a great job of it as Max Wright is off the track further down. There he is, losing a couple of places. And as they come up the hill, Tom, Nathan Davis has regained the lead, but Rob Hartley's not going to take that line down.
No, he won't, and he knows what Excite want and he knows what Excite need. But he's brought Cesare Rizzo into play as well. Luke Cooper's there, right there with him. Sorry, lost my words there. And as you come down to T1, then they're all in formation again. Nathan Davis is on the inside. Rob Hartley sticks it, keeps it round the outside, and Nathan Davis just wasn't quite close enough. As you just see Rob Hartley kicking up a load of dust. But Cesare Rizzo, he's not hanging about, is he? We've seen him come on leaps and bounds so far within this series. And we saw, I think the first race he had, Chaz, I think he had, was it near enough 3 DNFs in one evening, and now look at him, he's up into P3 and fighting with the best of them in the BSR MX5 Cup. So yeah, I still think this is anyone's to play for. Rob Hartley, he's not having it all his own way. Nathan Davis is right there with him, as Cesare Rizzo seems to get a bit of a slipstream and does slot it into P2 now. So it really is anyone's guess, Chaz. These guys jostling for position, a bit of argy-bargy out there, and I've got to say, this is some of the best MX5 racing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, these guys always improve. They just get better and better every time we watch them. It's really, really enjoyable and great, of course, to have it on the iRacing Esports Network. Gives everyone the chance to see what great racing you can get out of these sort of, in inverted commas, slower cars on the service. They're just as exciting. I'd say it's probably because you get more reaction time to sort of adapt to what's happening around you. As Luke Cooper a little bit wide there, he was avoiding the back of the SimLab car in front of him. I believe that's Jack McIntyre. Jack doing his usual thing, and he's just gradually making his way up the field. It's further down the order, we see Lorne Murray coming under attack from Peter Van Gool in the SimLab car there. He's just got Mick Barry ahead of him for Result Clothing. Of course, white and red cars, and there is Mr. Jordan Giddings of Beast Racing through the kink in this massive long train of cars. You can see Rob Hartley's getting away with it a little bit at the moment. Looks like Brian Holmes has made a bit of a mistake through there, so he's falling back, but contact between Rizzo and Davis there into Canada corner. Davis really overcooks it by the look of it, Tom, and he just tried to use Rizzo as a brake, but hitting the side of him isn't going to slow anyone down, really, is he?
No, it won't do, and I think that's what faults other games online. But yeah, it is what it is. It's hard racing at the end of the day, and these guys are fighting for a championship. You see Nathan Davis again making another mistake, but it doesn't seem to impede him that much. But you don't want to be doing it all the time. You don't want too much dirt on those tyres. But as I say, Mr. Hartley now is starting to pull a little bit of a gap. Seems to be about 1.3 seconds as they come across the line, coming into turn 1. Nathan Davis in P2 with Beryl Smith behind him and Cesare Rizzo as well. Beryl Smith has a little look up the inside into turn 1 on Nathan Davis and does make the move stick. So now it is Hartley, Beryl Smith, Davis, Rizzo and Jack McIntyre. Chaz doing really well. He's up 5 places so far, so a good drive from him, and a little shout out for Jamie Ayres as well. He's up 17 places so far in this race, so he's having a brilliant one out there.
Yeah, those two boys always quick. SimLab, of course, their new sponsor. Great for them to get that on board. This team was previously Momo in their very popular red cars with different highlights on, but of course with the new rules coming in, they aren't able to display the logos without permission, but getting a real sponsorship deal from SimLab was great for them, as we see Beryl Smith down the inside, Nathan Davis now for second, Rizzo still in fourth, with McIntyre putting the pressure on. But this train is fantastic. Absolutely awesome stuff to see everyone still on the track, and there we go, I've jinxed it, but we're just fighting away, and like I said before, Tom, it's clean, hard racing, and this is what we come to expect. Oh, as McIntyre's wide, he's going to lose a place to at least 1 or 2 of the Swift Cooper Esports cars, which seem to be culminating together in the middle of this pack. So it's all about working together, but when there's this many cars involved in a train, Tom, do you reckon it's going to be possible at all?
I think if we've seen it so much in iRacing and in real world racing as well, if you keep your wits about you, it can happen. Although we've seen it too many times in F1 and BTCC when people get a little bit too close for comfort and you get these big trains and then a big accident does tend to happen. But these guys are really experienced in what they do. They know this car inside and out, and as we're on board with Jason Cooper at the moment, and he's in the number 35 car, it's just, you notice that the guys in front are just starting to build up a little bit of a gap on him, but he does go late on the brakes there and starts to make it up again, pushes it out wide, has to let off the throttle a little bit there, just to make sure the car doesn't go out too wide onto the gravel, which is not what you want, because as we've said before, Chaz, once this car is going round, you're not really going to stop it in the grand scheme of things.
No, it's not the easiest thing to save. It can be a right barrel of laughs though, but look at this from on board now. You can just see how little you can actually see when you get to the apexes. I mean, it depends on the driver's sort of field of view that they have. But look at the slipstream. Really powerful in this car. Closing to the back of Anwar Smith then. Cesare Rizzo and Nathan Davis on our right. Is he going to push him? He hangs back a little bit. He makes the contact as soft as possible because, well, you do sort of wobble around a bit in this. You can quite easily turn another car off the track. And there we go. That's Rizzo making contact with Smith. Really well avoided there by Jason Cooper, but that's a real shame for those boys. It just didn't need to happen. I think Rizzo was just a little bit late on the brakes. Might have to take a look back and see who was at fault, because I don't know whether Anwar turned in a bit too keenly. Yeah, it looked like Rizzo just sort of hit the back of Davis and got out of it. Somehow nobody hit Anwar, but he's really unlucky there, Tom, because starting from pole, you would have expected a really good result for him out of this race.
Yeah, but as we said, I just said, didn't I, that it's quite often that you will get a mistake when you've got these battles. So unfortunate for him, but I know as we know Anwar, he'll come back fighting in the next races. As we have a little look at Jack McIntyre now running in P4. He's got Rizzo behind him and fighting hard between the boys. But as we said, nice clean racing. As you see, one of the Excite cars there getting massively out of shape. I think that was Adam McNally in the number 78. As you see down there, social media, if you give us a little follow, give the video a thumbs up, it would be most appreciated to see more content like this on the iRacing Esports Network. And there's many more different racing series to come up, whatever takes your fancy. But as we say, one of our favourites is definitely the BSR MX5 Cup. As we see now, Robert Hartley in the number 33 pulled out a majestic lead there over the other guys, and that's what we come to see from him, as the other one of the other Swift Cooper Esports cars gets massively wide, does a little hop over the curb, but they're back on the track nicely. So yeah, they're starting to spread out a little bit now, Chaz, but it's still giving us some exciting racing here at Road America. Nathan Davis seems to be holding his own now in P2. He's not letting the Excite boys and the Swift Cooper boys put too much pressure on him now. So yeah, I think altogether, I think it's been a really exciting race so far as we come towards the end now.
Yeah, it's actually crept up on us. It always does this, to be fair, because these races just go by so quickly when there's so much going on, and it looks like Robert Hartley is going to take the win, of course. Just had a quick look on his profile in the meantime as well. It is 9,649 his iRating currently, so
not even close.
He's got a bit of work to do still, but I'm sure that if he does more performances like this, he will continue that way. Robert Hartley then takes the checkered flag, and taking second there just was Jason Cooper, 0.02 of a second ahead of Nathan Davis. Great finish for him. Dave Hampson there just finishing behind Jordan Giddings. Cesare Rizzo came home 5th in the end. More battles as we go up the hill here. That's Rob Graham with the, I believe, it's one of the Result Clothing cars. Is that Mick Barry next to it? It is. Mick Barry just finishing behind him then. A little bit of side-by-side action over the line. You do get a lot of drag races up the straight here, and when you've not got the slipstream on your side, it's just down to things like your gear changes even. So it's easy to overdo it, but there is your race one winner. Robert Hartley, despite starting at 5th on the grid, you had to sort of have in the back of your mind that he was going to take the win. As Alex said, he's a phenomenal driver of the MX5. I don't think there's anyone really that is better on the service from what the stats show anyway. So fair play to him, driving for Excite Energy Esports. I'm sure Adam McNally will be very happy with that result for the team. And lots of points, of course, for them in the team's championship. Tom, that was a good first race of the night. It's exactly what we expected from these guys, and it wasn't too messy either.
No, it wasn't messy at all. I think we're always going to get incidents when we've got a 40-plus car grid, especially at a track like this, which is quite narrow. It's one of the old school circuits in America. So, yeah, it was brilliant racing, wasn't it? It was one of the guys getting massively sideways, as they always tend to showboat after a race. But yeah, it was really good racing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you guys are home too.
And don't forget, of course, we have 3 more races to come this evening, and the grids for those will be decided by our very popular reverse grid wheel, which we will hopefully see very soon from Alex. Just waiting for the rest of the guys to finish, and we should have the results in just a few moments' time. We hope you all had a great Christmas and New Year, of course. It's a pleasure to be back. Feels like forever since we've done this, but it was only a 2-week break, I believe, from when we did our last one. So, yeah, it's great to be here for you all, and it's great for this series to be out in such strong numbers as well. Actually, I remember seeing on the Facebook page earlier today, they were a bit worried about numbers because, of course, with it being New Year's Day, people out seeing relatives and things, and, you know, real life comes first a lot of the time with situations like this, but it's great that everyone can still get together on Tuesday night and do what they love doing, I suppose. It's always good to see.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant to see the guys out there, and it's brilliant to see such a good turnout. So we've got the race results up on the screen then. Robert Hartley takes the win for Excite Energy Esports with a 1.9 second lead. A brilliant drive from him. Behind him, Jason Cooper and Nathan Davis in second and third. Jack McIntyre in fourth with Cesare Rizzo in fifth. Kip Stevens in P6 for Swift Cooper Esports with Luke Cooper behind him. P8 was Brian Holmes and Adam McNally in P9. Jordan Giddings is your AM race winner in P10 for Beast Racing. Go on, lads, nice race win. 11th was Dave Hampson, 12th Craig Jones, 13th was Max Wright. Mikel Garcia was 14th. 15th Amal Beryl Smith, 16th for Jamie Ayres. Josh Thompson was in 17th. 18th was Nick McCarran. 19th was David Ayres. Just trying to find on my timing screens now. There we go. Pete Van Gaal in 21st, Rob Graham in 22nd, Mick Barry in 23rd, Jay Wright in 24th, Benjamin Mears in 25th, Carl Hardy was 26th, Roy Ververke was 27th, and behind him in 28th was Billy Rose. 29th was Alex Rivet, Mikey Key in 30th, with Jerome Ursum in 31st, 32nd Joe McDonald, and then rounding out the rest of it was Tiger Lugo Vickery, Lorne Murray, Anthony Ainsworth, Carl Jackalette, Michael Hall, Steve Hefford in 38th, 39th was Pete Newman, and Lewis Morgan in 40th.
Cracking stuff. Thank you very much, Tom. Good races always from these guys. Great way to start the evening, and hopefully we will have much more of that to come. Just trying to have a quick look now down the order to see who's going to be eligible for this reverse grid spin. Lorne Murray and Tyler Lugo Vickery are the only two drivers that finished a lap down. Everyone else was more than that. And they are 34th and 35th, respectively. So, Alex, if you have the wheel ready to go, we should be able to crack on.
Yeah, indeed I do. Give it a little spin. Predictions coming in on the chat. See where we end up. Looks like a small one. We haven't seen this number for quite a while as well. 15th.
Wow, so it is a small one. I have to even scroll up on the results to get that. Well, it's a bit of a blessing in disguise, really. Pole sitter Anwar Smith will be on pole for the second race of the evening. It's not often that happens. Jamie Ayres misses out by one, but Mikel Garcia will join Anwar on the front row. Max Wright and Craig Jones make up row 2, with Dave Hampson starting from 5th. So if you join me, Tom and Alex in about 10-15 minutes time again on the iRacing Esports Network, we will bring you race 2 out of 4 for this evening in the BSR MX5 Cup. Don't go away. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Cup. We're here at Road America for race 2 of 4 this evening. Chaz Draycott here with Tom Jacobs. Alex Simpson is on the cameras for us tonight. And we had a really frantic race 1, Tom. A lot of slipstreaming as we expect from Road America, and a lot of good, hard, clean racing with not much mess. Do you reckon with the smaller reverse grid we're going to get the same again?
Yeah, I think we will, won't we? There's a lot of AM guys up the front as well, so that should be good to throw them into the mix. And then obviously you've got a couple of the faster guys down at the back. Robert Hartley, your race 1 winner, is in P15, so he's going to be fighting his way through the field, but he's going to have Jason Cooper and Jamie Ayres for company. Looking at your grid then, you've got Anwar Beryl-Smith on pole with Mikael Garcia behind him, Max Wright in 3rd, Craig Jones in 4th, Dave Hampson 5th, 6th is Jordan Giddings, 7th Adam McNally, 8th is Brian Holmes, Luke Cooper in 9th, Oscar Wilde in 10th, 11th is Zoe Rizzo, and 12th is, sorry I didn't catch it there, Jack McIntyre. As we build up the revs then, by the look of it, quick short grid and lights out, and away they go then, to quote Mr. David Croft. Off to everybody, Cesar Rizzo got a fantastic start though, didn't he, ahead of Mr. Garcia, as they fight their way down to turn 1. But Beryl Smith got a brilliant start. He launched up the line, got it into gear number 2, and off it went. So they come down into turn 1. Everyone looks to be through quite cleanly, nice and conserved from everybody there. As they come down the long hill towards the other right-hander. We've got 2 guys off in the background. They look to have saved it, although I'm not sure who that is. That's Cesare Rizzo falling down the order. Unfortunate for him after he had a great race 1, Chaz, apart from that incident towards the end. But unfortunate for him there.
Yeah, real shame. Seemed like it was, when I came into it, the car was all over the place, nearly in the air. So not quite sure how he got involved in that. Hampson's got a right fight on his hands now with Garcia, McNally, Max Wright in there as well. But as you said, Anwar Smith made a great start, and away he goes. You can see Craig Jones and Jordan Giddings there side by side. Oh, one of the Excite cars is around.
It's Hartley.
It's Rob Hartley. It is indeed. I'm not sure whether he got help. You'd expect it. Oh, he's been clipped by Lorne Murray. Lorne just had nowhere to go there, I think, as Rob turned the car around. Hopefully it's not damaged it too much, but yeah, you'd think that Rob, I mean, now we were praising him so much in the first race, but you'd hope he got contact really with that. We'll have to have a look. Oh, he just hits the curb and it just bounces and spins on him. Rare mistake that from Rob, but does a good job to spin it around again, but just Lorne Murray had nowhere to go. But I'm sure that we'll have to keep an eye on him, Tom, and watch him coming back up through the order, because it's a given that he'll be doing that.
Yeah, now he's got some racing to do, hasn't he? As we see Anwar Beryl-Smith now really pulling out quite a lead here. It's up to about 1.5 seconds. Dave Hampson, Mikael Garcia, Max Wright, Adam McNally round out your top 5. Jordan Giddings having a good start there. He is down 1 place, but he's keeping P7 quite nicely, and the rest of the guys just sort of the field starting to spread out a little bit now. Chaz, the Excite boys having a great fight there with Max Wright, who's having quite another sterling race out there at the moment. So the guys starting to spread out, and they know what work they've got to do, and that work is to catch the number 1 of Mr. Beryl-Smith. As we see the onboard, well, having a look at Mikael Garcia in the Result clothing car. And yeah, I think it's going quite nicely at the moment, Chaz. We see the extra long, really powerful slipstream coming into play now as they come towards turn 1.
Yeah, down that long first straight is brilliant, because as you're going up the hill, it becomes a battle of momentum halfway up the straight, because you've got to have had a good exit out of the last corner to try and make anything of it. The slipstream obviously helps you towards the end of the straight, but it can just depend on your positioning, whether you get anything done with it. McNally and Holmes there 5th and 6th with Beryl-Smith out in the lead. This is looking like a very good night for the Excite Energy esports drivers. They're going to be very, very happy with this, because, as I said at the top of the broadcast, they didn't have the best of starts to the season. But look out for Dave Hampson, though, in 2nd place. He's been a star this season. I mean, he put in a great first performance when we watched him at Monza, just over, well, it's probably about a month and a half ago now. But he was great first time round, and he's really come on leaps and bounds, as we were saying about Cesare Rizzo earlier. And he's got a chance of at least a podium here, obviously being 2nd already. But I'm sure he'll be going for that win, Tom, trying to chase down Anwar.
Yeah, he will be, won't he? That's what he's gonna desire to have. And I'll tell you what, the guys behind him, Max Wright, Garcia, as Brian Holmes makes the move up into P4, they're not going to make it easy for him, and they're not going to make it easy for Beryl-Smith if they can catch him as well. Look at the number 58 of Brian Holmes. Always going well here, Chaz. He doesn't get doesn't get as much of a mention as the other drivers do in this series, but he's always up there with the best of them, and he always makes great haste towards the front. But as you say, it is going to be a great evening for the Excite guys. They've just really held it together. I mean, obviously we've just seen Hartley in a bit of an incident, but he did have that race 1 win. But apart from that, they've just been going sterlingly well. It's been nice, clean racing from them, and they haven't really made too many mistakes. So I'm interested to see here about what they can do looking further on as we go on board now with Jordan Giddings, and he just gets it onto the grass, and round it goes in the Beast Racing car, the number 23. He's had a head-on with someone else as well. The car barrel rolls over, and I think that's Mr. Giddings out. If I'm a betting man, he'll be bringing it back to the pits. So unfortunate for him. I think it's just one of those occasions of putting one wheel on the grass, and that's all she wrote there, Chaz.
Yeah, that was a big hit for Jordan there. He's not going to be happy with that one. But that was almost like a commentator's curse there, but not even a word was said. Let's have a look at it from the exterior, then we'll see who it was that clipped him. I think Kip Stevens was involved. Yeah, like you say, Tom, just that 2 wheels, just 1 wheel on the grass, sorry. Try and have a quick... Oh, it was one of the SimLab cars, I think. Just trying to have a... Was it Nick McHerron that went into him? I think it might have been. I'm just having a look down my timing screen. Here is Nick McHerron now. Thank you very much, Alex. That was very rapid work. You can see Jordan go off in front there. Oh, just nowhere to go. Nowhere to go for poor Nick there. It was just suddenly a car anyway. As Rob Graham just manages to miss it. Although he's gone off on his own accord as well. He's it. Oh, wow, that's a big one from Rob Graham. We didn't see that originally, but... Oh, he's going to be gutted with that, because he did such a great job to avoid it, Tom, but eventually ended up in quite a mess. But you see Hampson now really chasing down Anwar. Now he's in slipstreaming range. This is going to really spice up.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And I didn't think, actually, at any point that Beryl Smith was actually going to get caught. But he has, by Dave Hampson, who's having a sterling drive at the moment. I don't want to commentators curse him too much, but the car just seems to be so planted, and he's hitting every apex and every line exactly right to catch Beryl Smith, and that's exactly what he's done. So I'm interested to see what does happen at the end of this. You see there's on the timing screen to your left, there's a few more little battles going on out there. But yeah, Chaz, I think he's well in line for the win here if he keeps going on the way he is.
Yeah, hopefully. It'd be great to see him get an overall win, because I know he had, I think when he was classified as an AM previously, he had a couple of wins in the category, not overall, like not the whole race. So it's going to be great to see what he can manage with this. I mean, he's found his pace, of course, we've seen it, but Anwar's no slouch. Anwar's been absolutely rapid since the first time I watched him drive, and he was actually saying a while ago he was going to go it alone and just sort of concentrate on his own adventures in sim racing and not race for Youth Energy or Excite anymore. But it's great to see him still representing the team. Well, it looks like Hampson's already got it done before Canada corner. Great stuff, not even on the brakes, and he just pulls in front. But you know what's going to happen now. Next time they're on a straight, Anwar's going to return the favour, and this is going to be a great scrap to the end. But you've got to think, Tom, whether McIntyre or Holmes can get involved in this as well. Garcia's going to be treading carefully because he's leading the AM category at the moment. Oh, Holmes a little bit of a slide there out the left-hander. Still side by side with McIntyre. These two really, really quick drivers. McIntyre's internet, infamous for blinking every now and then, has just done it again, but I think he'll be all right. This is going to be a great scrap, and it's going to be good to see whether they'll work together, actually, Tom, to try and catch up with Anwar and Hampson, who we can see down the straight once again, side by side.
Yeah, they're good friends off track, aren't they? So we'll be interested to see what they do. As we see, Brian Holmes now does get the slipstream on McIntyre and does take P3, so he's back on for a podium at the moment. But rest assured, with 2 laps to go, it's going to be anyone's guess still. As Beryl Smith is in P1 now. Behind him is Dave Hampson. But we look back now at the fight for the last podium position here at Road America. And yeah, the SimLab driver of Mr. McIntyre is not letting him get away with it so easily, but he's bringing the other Excite car of Adam McNally into play as well. And these guys, they will definitely work together, 2 Excite cars, as I think they're going to go and put it 3 wide. Adam McNally has a little bit of a look to the right, doesn't really know which way to go, and I think quite sensibly he is going to back out of this one, which he does, but Brian Holmes is still up the inside of McIntyre now. Doesn't quite make it go, does he? I think here, Chaz, Brian is just holding back a little bit and is just waiting to bide his time and maybe wait for that elusive slipstream on the last lap.
Yeah, again, it's down to tactics. You've just got to try and do everything you can. And, well, we've always said it before, you don't want to be the car that's ahead on a slipstreaming circuit when you're coming onto the last lap. So what Brian and Adam will try and do here with Jack is just try and stay behind him maybe when it comes towards the end of the race. We've got 2 more laps after this one. So there may be a bit more of a scrap yet to come because these laps are quite long. I mean, the guys are doing 2.5-minute laps here in the MX5, so plenty of time to go. But you've just got to see how they pull it off. And I'm excited to see which one of these guys comes out on top because they're both very, very quick. But the slipstream is really leveling the playing field there. And I really enjoy watching this sort of stuff. As we look back to the front, you can see Hampson and Anwar once again side by side. Tom, Hampson though, really, really impressive for me tonight. Very, very pleased with how he's doing.
Yeah, I think he's going to be my my driver of the race, so to speak. He's not quite my driver of the day yet, but just the performance he's put in so far has been really, really good. And what a gorgeous livery there is on that car as well. But he's all over the back of Beryl Smith. The car gets a little bit out of shape on the brakes, but we've come to expect that from the MX5, and that's probably all down due to setup as well. But here we go then, on board with Dave Hampson in the number 88 car. And look how strong this slipstream is. He got a good run out of the last turn coming up the hill. And now here it comes then. Is he going to make a move? He's going to have a little look to the right, which he does. Beryl Smith will be looking at his mirrors and he knows it's coming. Pulls up alongside Beryl Smith now coming into turn 1, and he's already made the move go. And I think Beryl Smith may have let him go a little bit there, Chaz, just so he knows that he might have that slipstream on the last lap.
Yeah, it's just the way you've got to play it. He didn't want to compromise Dave's line so much. I mean, even though it is Brian, his teammate, that is coming up behind Anwar, he just wanted to make sure that they worked together. So he was trying not to compromise Dave's line through turn 1. So he sort of broke to let him pull back in front so he could get the optimum line into turn 1. And Anwar putting 2 wheels on the grass there, getting a bit eager as they go down towards the left-hander at the bottom of the hill. Really difficult to always get it right here on the brakes. I've never had that much luck in the MX5 on the brakes. I don't know whether it's just me or whether the car isn't the easiest thing to do, but you can see, look, they're doing it again. Dave brakes early, Anwar slots in front. And this is fantastic tactical driving by the two of them. They know that they're going to get a good finish out of it. They've just got to be really, really careful. And they're working together very, very nicely. Fantastic shot from overhead here of just the lines that they're taking through all these corners. Rob Hartley and Jones, McIntyre, Holmes, everyone's lighting up red on the timing tower on the left, which means that basically they've got what's called an incident point. If you don't know on iRacing, if you put 2 wheels off the grass, or I think it's 50% of the car, then you get what's known as an incident point. If you make contact with the cars, you get 4. If you spin it, you get 2. It can vary, and it's all based on a safety rating system, just to make sure that the racing is nice and clean. I believe the incident limit in this series is, I think it's 20? No, it's not 20. I believe it's 17, I think, like the official series are on iRacing, but I'll have to have that confirmed. But either way, it's not slowing these boys down. There's 1 lap to go after this, side by side through the kink. That's McIntyre and Holmes. Holmes a bit eager on the inside, and he's lost a lot of momentum because of that. Now on the Swift Cooper Esports cars, whoa, nearly hitting him then. Nearly bounced off the side of him coming down to Canada corner. They were very lucky to get away with that. And that was Luke Cooper. Side by side then, it's Adam McNally and McIntyre now. McIntyre's going to get sick of these Excite Energy Esports cars, isn't he, Tom?
Yeah, he will do, and that's all that we had to see in his rearview mirror. But the 3rd place is still anybody's guess. If the 2 guys out in front can keep it nice and clean, then I think they've both got P1 and P2 respectively. But McIntyre at the moment is the one that's got it all to lose. He's also got the Swift Cooper Esports guys and some of the SimLab guys in there as well, and they'll all be wanting that position. At the moment, it is anyone's guess as we come onto the final lap then, across the start-finish straight for the final time. And then looking at your race leaders at the moment, Hampson is out in front. Beryl Smith doesn't take the slipstream, which suggests to me he's going to try and go for it at the end. But here we go for P3. McIntyre's got on the outside, and both the Excite cars do go through then, working together on the slipstream. But McIntyre's not having any of it. He's keeping in the slipstream of, I believe that's Brian Holmes there out in front. And he's going to get the door shut on him, as there might have been a little bit of contact there, but McIntyre still fights back, and this has brought the Swift Cooper Esports guys into play as well, as they're 3 wide now going down the straight. This is brilliant race, and I hope you're enjoying this at home as much as we are, as they go under the bridge then, still 3 wide, and this is anyone's guess. There's a back marker there who seems to have a blown engine, spreading smoke and all over the circuit. Coming down into the corner now, hard on the brakes. McIntyre seems to be the one who's lost.
Contact.
They all made contact, and that looks to be one of the Swift Cooper Esports guys round, but he's managed to hold it there. And yeah, what a brilliant bit of racing that was, Chaz.
Yeah, that was really feisty stuff. I noticed as soon as McNally and McIntyre were side by side then that Brian went over to the left to give him as much slipstream as possible, try and help his teammate, and it's worked out for them. Real shame for Luke Cooper though, it seemed that he turned in and Jack McIntyre was there, and a little tiny touch on the rear quarter, but he's not lost too much ground, he's still in 9th. Garcia doing a great job, by the way, leading the AM category at the moment in 8th place overall, but this fight is not over yet. I should probably have a look at the front of the field as well. Dave Hampson's gained 17 places in this race. Ben Mears, Craig Jones, Peter Van Gool, Rob Hartley's gained 25 after his incident earlier. Here is Anwar then. Round the outside of Hampson, that's going to become the inside for Canada Corner. See what he does on the brakes. Oh, he comes over to the left a little bit. That was very cheeky of Anwar there. Really showing the door to Hampson. Hampson gets a slide out of Canada Corner. Brilliant car control. He's carried the momentum really well, actually. 2 corners to go. Then we've got a left-hander and a right-hander. Hampson trying to put some of that yellow and red paint on the back of Anwar's car. Anwar brakes a little bit earlier. He's got a tighter line now, and Hampson's going to get the run here. Oz off on the grass, and Hampson has got the run now. Definitely, he's carried the momentum. And I think Dave Hampson is going to get there here, Tom. It's a run to the line. He's just going to get the overlap. This is going to be incredibly close. I think Hampson's just going to get his nose in front. It is Dave Hampson, 1,000th of a second over Anwar Smith. What a finish. McIntyre comes home behind. Holmes in 3rd with McIntyre 4th, Holmes 3rd. McNally 5th. You see Hefford now fighting to the line with Rose. 444 North Lights car. Oh, checkers on wreckers with those boys. Ends in contact in the wall. Billy Rose, the 444 car, finishing 14th overall, though. Good race for him. But that was another fantastic display of slipstreaming and tactical driving, Tom. That was really, really enjoyable once again from the BSR MX5 Cup.
It was, wasn't it? And that's what we've come to love from this series. So a well-deserved win there from Dave Hampson. 1,000th of a second. I mean, on the timing screens that I've got to my left, it's not even showing any time at all. So the iRacing network saying that it's 1,000th of a second, and that's, well, it's up there with one of the closest finishes we've ever had, Chaz. I know when we went to Interlagos a few races ago, we had a couple of those as well, and I think that's what we've come to love from this series, is all the tactics that come with it as well.
Yeah, certainly. That's what does come with driving these cars. You can see Jamie Ayres and Jack McIntyre, if you'd like to just flick to those right now, Alex. They're doing one of their usual displays of gratitude, let's say. Bit of drifting, bit of sliding around by these boys. Always great to watch after a race finishes. Jack McIntyre with that incredible display of car control that we saw at Donington not long ago. There's Jamie Ayres flicking it in then. Oh, Jamie's put it around, I think. Bit of contact. Nothing like a bit of inter-team contact in on a slowdown lap, but yeah, these guys just enjoying driving the car at the end of the day. We do hear a lot where people say that it is the best car on service in terms of how sort of realistic it is. Look at that, how do you slide it around the carousel? I've never seen that in my life. That's brilliant stuff. Always having a good laugh, aren't they? But there's your results then, Tom, if you'd like to do the honours.
Yeah, so Dave Hampson wins from Anwar Beryl Smith, and it's now saying 2,000th of a second, but I think it was possibly even a little bit closer than that as well. So well deserved from those guys, P1 and P2. Brian Holmes takes well deserved P3 with Jack McIntyre behind him in P4. P5, Adam McNally with Jason Cooper in P6. Jamie Ayres for SimLab Racing in P7, and then Mikael Garcia is your AM race winner with the Result Clothing in P8. Luke Cooper in P9 after that mistake at the end and a little bit of contact. Robert Hartley did so well to come back up from that early crash, didn't he? He finishes P10. Pete Van Gool in P11. Steve Hefford P12 with Billy Rose in P13. Benjamin Mews in P14. He'd come P2 in the AM race. Behind him is Jay Wright at P3 in the AM race as well. Carl Jacquelet in P16, Joe McDonald in P17, behind him is Jeroen Ursum in P18. Michael Barry in 19th with Carl Hardy behind him in P20. Kip Stevens there, or Oscar Wilde, he's put himself down as for Swift Cooper Esports in P21. Alan McCain in 22nd. Lorne Murray in 23rd. David Ayres in 24th with Roy Ververke in 25th. Tyler Lugo Vickery in 26th with Craig Jones in 27th. Alex Rivet is in 28th, and then Nick McCarran is in 29th, and then 30th was Max Wright. And then the rest of your finishers were Nathan Davis, Rob Graham, Jordan Giddings after his unfortunate accident. He was running really well. Anthony Ainsworth, Mikey Key. 36th was Cesare Rizzo. 37th was... Sorry, I've lost my timing screen now. I do apologise. I've lost my timing screen on my left as well. So, yeah, that was the end of the grid there for that one.
And another feisty race. Great stuff from these MX-5s as always. We really do enjoy broadcasting this series for you, and we hope that it's just as enjoyable for you guys at home. We've got another spinny wheel for the evening, which is going to be brought in by Alex any second. And we saw a smaller grid last time, Alex, so we might even get another one this time around. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's possible. They tend to be relatively close. I think that's sort of a bit of a pattern in the wheel that I've seen. So, yeah, we'll see. Should be random, of course, but let's spin it and see. Well, yeah, of course, well, you know, always open to the prize. Of course, 15th is completely opposite side of the wheel now. Are we going to get 35th or are we going to get -4? I don't think it's going to make much difference in the great scheme of things. Full -4 is.
Okay, so based on that then, with full -4, we're going to be looking at... It's going to be Roy Ververke on the pole position for race 3, alongside David Ayres. Lorne Murray and Alan McCain will make up row 2, and that would mean that Kip Stevens will be 5th overall. So, good little mix of talent at the front of the grid for this third one then. Alex and I, and Tom as well, of course, so I apologise for that. We'll join you in about 10-15 minutes' time on the iRacing Esports Network for the third of 4 races this evening in the BSR MX5 Winter Series. Don't go away. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and Road America for the third race tonight of the BSR MX5 Winter Series. I'm Chaz Draycott alongside Tom Jacobs with Alex Simpson on the cameras. And we've got another fantastic race lined up for you here. Just a quick rundown of the grid before they start. We've got Roy Viverke and Dave Ayres. Law Murray and Alan McKay make it a pro row 2. Kip Stevens 5th, Carl Hardy 6th, Michael Barry 7th, Jeroen Ursum 8th, Joe McDonald 9th, Carl Jackalette 10th, and it's Jay Wright and Benjamin Mears. And I believe the lights are on. So here we go. They're away. Puffs of smoke all the way down the field. Looks like someone didn't grid up halfway down. But it's Roy Viverke for Auto Mech Hill leading his teammate Lorne Murray down to turn 1, Tom. And slipstream's going to be just as important in this race again. Slightly overcast this time round, so maybe the tyre wear might not be so bad towards the end of the race, but you wouldn't think it'd be that strong round here, really, would you?
No, it isn't. It doesn't tend to be on any of the other races that we do, especially around here. It seems to be quite easy on the tyres, just Road America. As you see everybody jostling for position at the moment, a couple of late breakers there. Everyone seems to be through nice and clean. But yeah, I don't think with these small 6-lap races, 15 minutes, it should affect tyres too much. I think the main thing comes down to how much fuel you can try and save to make the car as light as physically possible. As we see Lorne Murray now, and Mr. Viverke pulling out a little bit of a gap over the guys behind them. I'm sure that will start to come down later on. So a few movers and shakers in there, not seeing anyone massively falling down the field so far, apart from Luke Cooper, who's gone down 18 places, Chaz, at the start, so that he'll be quite annoyed at that one, I think, so far.
Yeah, not quite sure what's happened to him there, but real shame for him, because he was up quite high in the second race, and then obviously got turned around at the turn 3. Look at that gaggle in the middle of the field there. Fantastic to see these guys racing so closely together. Rob Hartley in the middle of that. He's in 10th place already. He's gained 6 places so far in lap 1. Nathan Davis, though, 11 places gained up to 20th. What a start for the Green P. Doing a great job of climbing up the order already. As we see Max Wright and Mick Barry side by side around the carousel. Still side by side. Just got the overlap there as Mick Barry. And away he goes. 2 by 2 further down, Jason Cooper there in that with Rob Graham. Nathan Davis looking to get places up as well. Anwar Smith. Oh, and there's a car off, and that's Carl Jackalette, I believe. Has gone in the wall. He's behind the tyres there. It was nicely placed of him just to hide it. Really not sure how he's done that. Obviously, he did get some help. Don't know whether someone's turned across him or sort of just punted him out of the way out of the carousel. But this is a great gaggle. Steve Hefford in there as well. Jeroen Ursum, of course. And then you've got some more of the SimLab cars as well in the middle of this fight. Well, this is where the core of the racing takes part in this series, Tom, and often we do focus on the lead battles because they're so exciting and there's so many position changes, but there's always stuff going on when you look up and down the order in this championship. Yeah,
there is. As we see someone going off in the background, not sure who, I think that might have been Nathan Davis. He seems to, there he is, he's off out on the right. There was someone going off in the back as well as Nathan Davis goes into the pit lane. Yeah, it might have been Jason Cooper. So the Cooper boys not having the best of evenings this evening, Chaz, as we see one of them now at the outside. Mr. Ayres there does make the move stick. But yeah, it does provide some great racing, the MX5s with the slipstream. Just push hard and then make the tactics come into play towards the end, I think is the general consensus for these guys at the moment. Sometimes you get a few slower street circuits where it doesn't really come into play as much. Especially around here, it really does tend to. So as you see the top 5 there, really starting to pull out of a lead. But Viverke is about to make a move on Alan McCain. It looks to be as he's got it. He's up on the inside now, but McCain is going to fight back. And McCain does get through into P2 there. Sorry, I got my cars mixed around the wrong way. But yeah, so at the moment, Lorne Murray, who had an unfortunate race too, is out there leading in the number 55 car, ahead of Alan McCain, Roy Viverke, Kip Stevens, Oscar Wilde, and David Ayres, as well as your top 5. And Chaz, I think at the moment, the most exciting thing out there is the midfield scraps. I mean, look at this coming down the hill at the moment.
This is great to see, isn't it? Really, really good feisty racing from these guys all over. People darting around, trying to get every little bit of space they can. There's, Jeroen Ursum, a bit of a lock-up there ahead. I'm not sure whether he got a bit of help. There's one of the Excite Energy cars in there as well. Jack McIntyre going past. That's Adam McNally. I think Adam might have been slowing down because I think he might have made contact with Jeroen Ursum. I thought he was slowing down for a second there, but that might have just been the contact that's done it. Beautiful little shot there of the sky, which iRacing, of course, recently updated at the beginning of December. And every time we go to somewhere like this and you see these changing conditions, Tom, it just looks prettier and prettier, doesn't it? It's, oh, Dave Hampson, race 2, and they're running it really wide there. Mikel Garcia doing the same. But yeah, as I was saying, the skies and the whole environment looks brilliant nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. And iRacing's update has really sealed this as one of the prettiest sims out there. And I think it ties in with some of the other ones that we've come to know and love. And there's contact out the back, and they've spun right into the pack. Bit of Spa 98 for you in the rain, and someone else is off as well. I think that, well, Dave Hampson's got a very battle-scarred looking MX5, but he manages to get away with that. But I don't know whether that happened earlier on in the race. Quite get to see who that was, actually. Came off there. So coming into the corner now then. The VR Virtual Racing School cars gets out wide, and it's just a sandwich. Gets in one of the GT Omega cars as well. And that's all she wrote there, Chaz. But yeah, a couple of guys coming off unscathed, but it was a pretty nasty accident in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah, it was just, like you say, a bit of a sandwich. Cesare Rizzo got caught up in that as well. I think he was the car that got smashed into the back of and pounded into the wall, unfortunately. We saw him get taken out in race 2 as well, so not the best of evenings. I thought it was this man that we're looking at now, Mr. Hampson. But he's still in the race and he's still doing a fine job. He's gained 8 places so far. David Ayres has lost 3, but still doing alright for result clothing. As Alpha lead hots up then, it's Alan McCain and Lorne Murray side by side into the left-hander at the bottom of the hill. Looks like Lorne's got the run in, but Alan later on the brakes. Great stuff. And I'm going to go a bit nostalgic and very, very niche here, but I believe Alan McCain was the name of the driver that you drive as in the old Tucker Race Driver game on PlayStation, as far as I know.
I think it was, yeah. It actually was.
But yeah, he's out in front at the moment, so obviously the guy that's controlling him tonight's doing a fine job. Roy Ververke is leading the AM category, 3rd overall. Great drive by him so far. But this is a great scrap for the lead. And McCain, of course, in the Team Bushfinch Racing livery, with Lorne Murray driving for Auto McNock Hill. Him and Roy Ververke are teammates. And then we've got Oscar Wilde himself, Mr. Kip Stevens in 4th. Look at that sky there, that's absolutely wonderful as they go around the carousel. Nothing better than a carousel with a view. This seems a little bit more tame at the front this time round, Tom. Like I said before, it was the midfield that was really hotting up and providing all the action. These guys just sort of holding on to the higher positions they've got and seemingly trying to hold on to points out of this.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I mean, we see the 2 front guys now, McCain and Murray, they're going side by side. But yeah, the guys are really, there's a lot of respectful racing out there at the moment. But you've got to say it though, Chavs, in P5 there is Robert Hartley, and he is up 11 places, and we know how quick he can be as he tries to go around the outside of one of the esports cars there, Swift Cooper Esports, sorry, as they come now towards the straight and towards the end of the lap. A little kink of the right-hander there, and then up the hill they go, and this is where the slipstream comes into play. But Robert Hartley is now up into P4. He's got Roy Ververke in front of him, and Lorne Murray and Alan McCain. So the guys now starting to bunch up, Chaz, but as you say, there is a lot of respectful driving out there at the moment, and that's what we like to see. I mean, a lot of people do like a lot of exciting incidents sometimes, but for me, I think it's the racing that really brings the excitement to these series.
Yeah, and that's the difference with iRacing as well. I mean, you can describe what you want of, oh, this game's got the better graphics, this game does this game does that, and there's a lot of things that are more measurable than just how good racing is. It's not a measurable subject, it's a matter of opinion. As Rob Hartley there, losing a bit of time around the outside of turn 2. Not quite sure what's happened to him there, but hopefully nothing major. I think he might have just had a little bit of an incident. Jimmy Ayres there trying to squeeze between him and David Ayres. It's Ayres and Ayres. Side by side, he's getting slipstream off his teammate Steve Hefford. The 2 SimLab cars working really nicely together there. As he goes down the inside, Hartley needs to be careful. Down the inside of Ayres on the brakes. Great stuff by Robert there. Up to 7th, but Hefford and Ayres then representing SimLab at the moment. They've not had the most sort of striking start to the season as they used to with Momo, but they're gradually getting there now, Tom. They seem to be improving race after race. I mean, we didn't think there was any sort of room for improvement previously, but they've not had the best of starts to the season that they would have wanted.
Yeah, I think it's a case of, like, say, Red Bull was when they were racing in Formula 1, and then another team comes and steps up to the plate I know a lot of guys during their break have really been doing a lot of practice, and it's really brought the fight to the SimLab guys in terms of, I think, well, Excite are up there with them as well, and you've got the likes of, say, Result Clothing, yeah, they're there, thereabouts, and then you've got the Swift Cooper Esports guys. So Momo, or SimLab as they're known now, obviously, they pretty much dominated last season, didn't they? But the other guys really got the setups dialed in, and it's brought us a lot better racing. That's what we want to see. No one really wants to see a team dominating constantly, apart from me with the old red cars in F1 back in the day. But yeah, I think it's good for the series. It's good for iRacing sim racing as a whole to get as many teams as we can up the front and fighting well together.
I was wondering whether you were going to mention the dominance of Ferrari from 2000 to 2005, but here we go then. Hey, Steve Hefford down the inside of Averke, 2x2. Oh, bit of contact between Hartley and Ayres. He even said Hartley went into the pit lane then. He was that far over to the right, but luckily him and Ayres get away with it. Well, it's Alan McCain, who's number 17 in this race, but I believe that in the old Tucker race driver game, it used to always force you to be car number 18. Bit of bit of general knowledge for you there. But
how do you remember this stuff?
Honestly, Alex, I don't know. I must have been a very sad child of a very sheltered youth. But there we go. Steve Hefford is not leading a sheltered youth out in the gravel. Still side by side with his teammate. Rob Hartley followed him and did the same. Still side by side at the right-hander, and Rob Hartley's got to try and get past Robbie Verke now. Lorne Murray, though, and Oscar Wilde himself, Kip Stevens, doing a fine job representing cars with pink roll cages and pink wheels in second and third. Hartley using every little bit of track to get past Robbie Verke down the straight. And it's just great to have Rob on board with the championship, really. It's great for the series to have such a high-profile racer in. Look at that commitment around the outside of the left-hander there, around Jamie Ayres. You can see Jamie just in the rearview mirror then. He's still there though, you can hear the car, you can see the car, there he is, a little bit of a bump. And Rob's back ahead as they go through the right pink. Great close racing by these guys there, nice bit of paint swapping, but you can see the liveries of these Excite cars, there's 4 of them in shot there. They're just not going away, Tom, they're having a great time tonight. Yeah,
they are, aren't they? And that's what they would have wanted. They've got the likes of Hartley up there with them, and Beryl Smith seems to be leading the way for that team. And I've got to say, what a striking, really nice looking livery they've got on that car as well, and the fact that it's up the front is brilliant for them. But as we look forward to the front then, Alan McCain leads in the number 17 car, behind him Lorne Murray, and Kip Stevens, aka Oscar Wilde, behind him. And I've got to say it, Chaz, Kip is looking rather strong here at the moment. He's, I think he's bided his time quite well, and if he can get past these guys, he really is in the fight for P1 here.
Yeah, definitely. He is always quick. He's always there or thereabouts, and we've seen him over the course of all British Sim Racers events. Of course, he is pretty much the king of British Sim Racers. He rules with an iron fist, and he rules with a banterous like that as well. But he does a good job running the whole thing. As Hartley and Hefford getting really feisty. Look at that sky, love it. Anyway, let's look at the MX5s. Hartley and Hefford side by side. Then they've really closed up on this battle actually now, but. Here's the battle for the lead, 1 lap to go. Lorne Murray right behind Alan McCain. He's not got his brother Donny here to save him this time round. Another bit of niche knowledge for you there. 3 wide in the background though, nearly. It looked like Jamie Ayres was going to try and make it 3 wide anyway with Steve Hefford and Rob Hartley. Rob is on the outside now, Jamie's on the inside. He's around the outside of Kip Stevens as well. And of course, nice little prompt there by Alex, of course. Do follow us and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget you can also click the little bell icon, which gives you oh, Rob Hartley out of shape, pings Kip Stevens off into the wall. I don't think I've ever seen a change of direction from an MX5 that quick, Tom. That was a real shame that happened, because in a sort of long-term commentator's curse style there, Kip's now out of the race after he said he was going to do well.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to stop mentioning drivers' names from this point on and just give up commentary altogether. Every time I mention a driver, they seem to go off. But yeah, unfortunate for Kit, or Oscar Wilde as he's called, on here. What shame for him. I think Rob didn't really have an answer to that. There was nothing really he could have done. It was a case of either try and save the car or not. And if he hadn't, obviously, Oscar would have carried on going. But here we see it then. this is now the fight pretty much for P1 coming towards the end of the lap, Chaz. They're all pretty bunched up together, but if McCain can hold it, he will have this win here now as they come towards the end of the final lap then. And yeah, I think for the podium, I think it's anyone's guess, but if McCain can keep it nice and clean, I think he's got this one.
Got to keep your eye on Jamie Ayres though as well, of course. Jamie's always been quick in this car, and SimLab need a win. Steve Hefford's taking to the grass to try and get every little bit of advantage that he can. Jamie dips 2 wheels wide on the kink. Really chasing Lorne Murray. Looks like Steve Hefford had a bit of an issue with that as well, but there's just an army of Excite Energy cars coming after them. They're fantastic, these guys. They're sitting in 4th, 5th, 7th and 8th here. And Ayres trying to go round the outside. Hefford trying to go around the outside of someone who's not quite there, but he's now down the inside of Lorne Murray. He's made that work. Rob Hartley playing the tactical game here. He's up into 3rd, albeit temporarily, because Lorne Murray's on the inside, although he carries the momentum. This is going to be a drag race again. McCain's wide. Ayres has got the run here, Tom, and are we, for the second time tonight, going to see someone take it over the line thanks to Slipstream? Jamie Ayres is really closing. Here he comes. I don't think it's going to be enough. And it's going to be Alan McCain takes your race win in race 3 from Jamie Ayres. Rob Hartley finishing 3rd. Excite Energy, another great result. Is your race 2 winner, Dave Hampson, moving over slightly on Jason Cooper. Rob Graham in front of them. Checkers or wreckers, across the line he goes. Goodbye, Dave Hampson. There's Jordan Giddings chasing Nick McCarron down the straight. Doesn't quite beat him to the line. But really, really strong finish to the race once again there. And we mention it all the time, and people probably get sick of hearing me saying the word Slipstream, but it's so strong around here, and it's so prominent everywhere in the MX5 that you have to sort of give credit to how much it works. And their easy race winner, of course, Alan McCain. You never know, he might move up a tier in his career after this one. But he's done a great job tonight. All seriousness, he's done a great job with that. Really, really deserved win. Nice clean drive, and he just kept it nice and competitive at the front, Tom. He didn't do anything he didn't need to do, and he just sort of kept his head as the Excite Energy boys sort of run into each other on the slow down lap there.
Yeah, he kept his head together, didn't he? He knew what he had to do. Didn't make any real, pushy moves to get anything done. I mean, when he was fighting with the likes of Lorne Murray, and also who else did he have? There was a couple of other drivers, Jamie Ayres with him as well. He just kept his cool, didn't he? And I think that's what you need in a sim race, so that if you can keep your cool, then you will eventually get results.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about the composure overall. Just make sure that you don't sort of lose focus, and that's exactly what he did, and he made the most of it. Great to see another driver as well notching up their first win. I believe that's 2 races tonight that we've seen where drivers have their first wins, as Jamie Ayres gets that drift slightly wrong coming out of the carousel. But we just wait for a couple of final drivers to come across the line then. Looks like it's going to be Tyler Lugo Vickery, I think, is just bringing up the rear of the field. But that was another exciting race, and of course we've got one more to come for you after this on the iRacing Esports Network. It's a pleasure to be here as always. Really enjoy broadcasting for you. And there we go then. So Tom, if you'd like to do the honours, mate, we have the results for race 3.
Yeah, so Alan McCain takes his first win with half a second ahead of Jamie Ayres, and behind him was Robert Hartley. So there is your podium there for round 3. Lorne Murray in 4th with Admiral Beryl Smith in 5th. Steve Hefford in 6th. Brian Holmes in 7th. Adam Nally in 8th. Roy Verke takes your AM race win in 9th, and Jack McIntyre rounds out the top 10 for SimLab Racing. Jamie Ayres in 11th, with behind him Benjamin Mius in the number 20 Automech Knock Hill car. Carl Hardy in 13th, 14th with Dave Hampson, 15th with Jason Cooper. Michael Barry in 16th with Nick McCarron behind him in 17th. Jordan Giddings, for Beast Racing in 18th. 19th, your own Ursum. Pete Van Gaal in 20th. Alex Rivet in 21st with Joe McDonald behind him in the 307 in 22nd. 23rd was Max Wright. Luke Cooper was 24th. 25th was Carl Jacquelet. 26th was Rob Graham for the other Automech Knock Hill car there. Kip Stevens, unfortunate crash for him at the end in 27th. 28th was Tyler Lugo Vickery, and then finishing off your non-finishers was Billy Rose, Mikael Garcia, Craig Jones, Anthony Ainsworth, Mikey Key, Jay Wright, Cesare Rizzo, and Nathan Davis.
Thank you very much, and as always, we will have the reverse grid spinny wheel any moment with Mr. Alex Simpson. Only one car was one lap down in that one, which was Billy Rose, so it'll be interesting to see whether we get a full reverse grid to make the most of that for him. or whether Tyler Luger, Vickery, or Kip Stevens can actually make the most of it. So over to you, Alex, if you are ready with it.
Yeah, ready to go. Let's give it a spin. Obviously, we've had pretty much extremes tonight so far, so final one going to be. 15th might be coming back into play. I don't think it's going to make it. No, it's not. It's a full -4.
-4 then means it would have been Billy Rose if it was full. That's going to put Carl Jacquelet, who we saw go off quite early in that one actually, be put on pole position for race 4 of the evening, ahead of Luke Cooper, who's always quick, so it'll be interesting to see whether Luke can make the most of that. Max Wright and Joe McDonald will be on the second row of the grid. So join me, Tom and Alex again in about 10-15 minutes time on the iRacing Esports Network, and we will bring you the 4th and final race of the evening from the BSR MX5 Winter Series. Don't go away. Welcome back to the fourth and final race of the evening on the iRacing Esports Network for the BSR MX5 Winter Series. We're on the grid, so we'll just fly through the top 10. You've got Carl Jackalette, Luke Cooper, Max Wright, Joe McDonald, Alex Rivette, Peter Van Gool, Jeroen Hurst, Jordan Giddings, Nick McCarron and Michael Barry. So a nice mix of pro and am drivers, Tom. Just coming under lights here as the sun has set and it is getting dark, so should be good to see these liveries light up under lights and see how these guys get on at the not naturally floodlit Road America.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting for them, won't it? The weather out there looks like we're about to have a storm, which we won't get on iRacing just yet, but I'm sure they've got something in the works for us as the revs do rise then. And it's 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and away they go. Big plumes of smoke from everybody there, but Carl Jackalette does get a decent start. Luke Cooper didn't get the best away, did he? He's got Max Wright to contend with now. Joe McDonald in there as well. We know that he can do quite well. We've seen him when he gets up the front, he can be there. And then behind the top 5, you've got Jordan Giddings with a little bit of a gap he's got now to them. But as they come into turn 1 then, everyone seems to be through nice and cleanly so far. And Luke Cooper does take the lead coming out of turn 1, but Jackalette does fight back. Onto the timing screens, just lost him a bit there as they go under the trees and then down into turn 2. So Chaz, everyone through nice and cleanly now, and they'll be looking forward to getting their heads down and really making this one memorable.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of contact there. Yeah, there's a couple of cars around at the back of the field. I think Giddings and McCarron made a tiny bit of contact and Jordan's lost a bit of momentum down the straight. So it's not really played out well for him, but Luke Cooper up the front then, it's 3 wide behind them. I think that's Pete Van Gool on the inside. And all late on the brakes there, that's the number 13 car. Oh, and right up the rear then, Jackalette. Don't quite know what he had coming to him. They just sort of slowed down a bit and sort of pounded out in rear. I'm not really sure there, but it was Rivette that went down the inside. I think he was late on the brakes and Jackalette tried to avoid him. And in doing so, he just sort of slowed up and made himself a bit of a mobile chicane that not everyone could avoid. But once again, we've got a long train of cars. Joe McDonald is up there side by side with Rivette. Oh, there's contact and off goes Rivette. Bang, and Rivette is gone. But real shame, I don't quite know how. I just don't think he left enough room on the outside as we see Giddings getting involved though and Mick Barry. Bit of a bump and grind around the outside of the carousel. Behind them was pole sitter Jackalette, but oh, they're both doing a bit of grass tracking now. Jordan keeps his foot in a bit more than Mick Barry does. He's going to have to let him back on. Oh, 3 wide nearly into the kink. That would have been focusing, but great opportunistic stuff by Carl Jackalette there, gaining up 2 places right off the bat. And that puts him back into the front of the AM category lead here, Tom, as Luke Cooper and Peter Van Gool seem to be running away with it. Yeah, they do, don't they? So it'd be good for them to try and make that distance away from the rest of the pack. But the AM racing is really starting to heat up. We see in the background there, Giddings going to have a little go around the outside as we look at McCarron now. And he's got Mr. Wright behind him. The car there, NP5. We've got a little bit of damage on it there, Chaz, at the moment. But yeah, we see Jordan Giddings is currently leading your AM race then as they come up the hill and across the start-finish line for the first time in race 4 this evening. And I hope you're all enjoying this at home as much as we are in the commentary box. Alex, Chaz and I having a nice start to 2019 at the moment. There's been some really nice racing out there. We see McCarron, Wright and McIntyre now coming down towards turn 1. Looks like they all get through nice and cleanly. So Chaz, we see the guys out in front pulling away at the moment. And do you think that these guys behind them can catch them eventually? I reckon the Simlab boys that we're looking at right now can definitely. Jack McIntyre is on a real charge. You can just see the pace that he's carrying. You can often tell with certain drivers when they're going quick enough, you can see that they are quicker than other drivers around them. A real shame for Brian Holmes and Steve Hefford, who are at the back of the field. They have dropped down because of accidents on the first lap. So hopefully the Simlab cars of Van Gool, McCarron and McIntyre can avenge him. And it looks like they're doing a good job of that so far. They've not been in our faces that much tonight. So we look at Rob Hartley and Dave Hampson fighting through the midfield, and there's another one of these Simlab cars there, Jamie Ayres, just going down the inside under the Corvette bridge. But once again, a lot of jostling for position in the midfield, and it's providing most of the entertainment tonight. These cars look great under lights, though. There's a big scrap behind these guys. Look at this lot. That's led by, I believe, it's not Kip Stevens. I think it's Joe McDonald, just in front of Joe McDonald, actually. It's Carl Hardy. Oh, Carl Hardy's just overtaken him, I apologise. It's Billy Rose, and who else is in there as well? Rob Graham in the Automat car. Round the carousel they go. Billy Rose on the outside. That's Anwar Smith in 20th place there. And behind them is Roy Viverke, who was quite high up in race 3, Tom, but unfortunately he hasn't had the best of reverse grids here. As we look at the battle for the lead already, this has hotted up very quickly. Van Gool to the fore.
Yeah, he's taking the lead, isn't he, as he pushes the car out wide, coming through there. But yeah, I said before you started talking, Chaz, do you think these guys will catch them? And they seem to be slowly doing it. It's now a three-way fight between the Swift Cooper Esports guys and one SimLab Racing driver in the name of Pete Van Gool in the number 39 MX5. And he's got it all to lose at the moment, and the guys behind him have got it all to gain as they come across the start-finish straight for the second time here at Road America. And we see the old slipstream, Chaz's favourite word, coming into play now. And the Cooper boys will be working together to try and get this SimLab car out of the way. But I think SimLab need this win, don't they, Chaz? As we said, they've not really set the world on fire like they did last season. And I think it'll be really good for them. As one of the, that's Luke Cooper being pushed a little bit out wide there by his teammate. But yeah, Chaz, I think this is really going to hot up for a great finish here today.
Yeah, definitely. It's we've seen some fantastic finishes in the ends of the first 3 races of the night. So I'm really excited to see what we can get out of this one. Nice close racing all the way through so far. I mean, this is probably the most spread out we've seen the lead battle over the course of the evening, but at the end of the day, it can close up in the blink of an eye, as we saw over the last few laps. And Cooper and Van Gool having a right good ding-dong for the front, while the other Cooper is behind them as well. And these are the sort of guys we expect to see at the front. They sort of rise to the top over the course of the evening. Jamie Ayres has just gained his 16th position of the race, up to 8th overall. He's doing a great job so far. Just to highlight these guys as well, Jason Cooper's gained 10 places, Pete Van Gool's gained 4, Luke Cooper's dropped 1, he started second on the grid. Jack McIntyre, just behind these guys, has gained 12. So really, really good stuff. I think the whole top 5 is Swift Cooper Esports and SimLab. And then Jordan Giddings, representing our very own Beast Racing Tom. He is leading the AM category in 6th overall at the moment. So good to see Jordan going well. He's ahead of Carl Jacqueline in the AM category in the bright yellow machine. As we go on board with another yellow machine, on the inside at least, it's Rob Hartley chasing down Dave Hampson around the carousel. And again, look at the beautiful sky. It looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it does look lovely, doesn't it? As does this view on board. You look at as Hartley looks at the back of Dave Hampson again, and these two boys are going to end up fighting for position again. I think they had a little bit of. Did they have a little bit of play? I think was it these two? A little bit of play earlier on. So we know how fast these two guys can be. Hartley being, as Chaz has said, probably one of the best MX5 drivers on the entire iRacing service. And this is what we want to see. Some great jostling for position as we see Hampson's going to try and have a little look around the outside, push it out wide, the car's on the grass, but he does get that move done. So a brilliant move there by Hampson, but Hartley does fight back. He has a little bit of a look up the inside, and they both make the move on Mick Barry's stick. So some great driving there, Chaz, and I haven't seen a move like that in quite a long time.
Yeah, really, really committed around the outside from Hampson. Really opportunistic stuff from Hartley as well. He just identified the opportunity and thought, I'm going to stick my nose down the inside here, boys. Let's get on with it. And he's got a place out of it. And that's the gutsy sort of, it's analytical almost. You've just got to get yourself in a situation and be able to sort of freeze time and just think, right, I need to put my car here when the other guy's car is going to go there. And you've just got to have really good judgment. And that's how Robert has gained such a high I rating and such amazing experience throughout iRacing. He's become such a formidable figure. And that just little moments like that just show it, where you don't have to go for every single move you see. You just got to sort of assess your targets and find out when would be the best thing. And that's what Pete Van Gool is going to be doing right now, coming up to the back of Jason Cooper once again. We've got 2 laps to go after this one. Normally these races fly by, but this one, for these guys, is just providing more and more opportunities. But Jack McIntyre is closing on the back of this battle. Giddings down the inside of McCarran in the background. Looks like Carl Jacquelette's had a bit of an issue as well. He's dropped down to 11th overall. He was, I believe, either 6th or 7th last time round, so not sure what's happened to him there, but he's still second in the AM category overall. It just means that he's closer to Benjamin Mears and Mick Barry as Dave Hampson drops a place to those guys. Mick Barry, his number lights up red as well on our little timing tower on the left-hand side, which means he's gone off the track somewhere or had contact. But this is it's a more controlled race, I'd say, this one, Tom. It's a bit more manageable. You can sort of remember where people are in their positions, and there's not too many position swaps going on over the course of the race.
Yeah, they're nice and spread out, and it's a nice bit of respect from the drivers that we've come to know from this series, as I've said before. The guys out there are really, they really show to test how hard you can actually push these little MX5s. But I've got to say, the top three there are starting to get close by Jack McIntyre and Jordan Giddings. Giddings is a little bit further back down in P5. He's currently leading your AM race. But yeah, it's starting to become anyone's guess who's going to take this win. There's a couple of fast guys at the front. Rob Hartley, who was my favourite going into this one to take the most wins, I think is a little bit too far back at this point, with only really a lap and a half to go. But yeah, Chaz, I think it is anyone's guess here at the moment as they come onto the start-finish straight once more. But it's nice to see the SimLab guys up there at the moment, Chaz, and it's got to be said, the Excite Energy guys are a little bit further down this time. They're not really not having as much luck as they did in the first three races.
No, they're still there and thereabouts, but like you say, just not got the look on their side in this one. I don't think the reverse grid helped them massively, because they were still so high up towards the front of the order by the end of the other one. So as it stands at the moment, 2 laps to go, it's getting darker and darker, and it's nice to see that difference. But it's 2 SimLab cars against 2 Swift Cooper Esports cars right now, and these are the sort of battles that we've come to expect from this championship, and we know and love them. And these are 2 of the very, very strongest teams that this championship has to offer. In the background, Giddings and McCarran are having a right good scrap for 5th and 6th, but this little battle of 4 cars is so close for the lead of the race, and this is what we want to see. And it's really difficult sort of to guess who's going to win this, Tom, but anyone take your fancy in this battle?
There's a big call. I think Jack McIntyre's looked on fire all evening, hasn't he? And I think he'll be biding his time. You've got Pete Van Gool in there as well, and we know how quickly he can be. There's a little bit of contact between McIntyre and Luke Cooper as well, coming out of there, and we see Jordan Giddings very wide coming out that corner as well. So yeah, I think it's anyone guess, but McIntyre on the grass taking the fight to the Swift Cooper Esports guys there. Blimey, he had a lot of that was bravery coming through there, because we know how easy it is to, when you get these cars on the grass, especially on the tyres and everything's up to temperature, how quickly it can upset the car getting on the grass. So I don't think the guys, the Cooper guys and Jack McIntyre as well, are really going to want to get the front 2, get away from them too much while they're fighting. But this is going to be for the last podium position in P3 then. And yeah, I think it is anyone's guess, Chaz, but I think if McIntyre can do Luke Cooper into P3, then he'll go on and chase down the 2 front runners.
Well, I'm going to go with an option that gives me a 50% chance of getting it right. I'm just going to say Cooper. So we'll have to see whether that pays off. But Jason's doing a fine job at the moment, the Pete Van Gool, and yeah, Luke's doing an awesome job of defending from McIntyre at the moment. Everything Jack does, Luke's just got an answer for it, and he's doing an awesome job, awesome display of defensive driving, really tactical. Because like you say, if Jack could get through, there's nothing stopping him from chasing down that lead duo, but with 1 lap to go there, you've got to think whether that's enough of a slipstream for him to actually catch back up. And I think if they decide to work together here, that they might still be in with a shout as we come across the line. So 1 more lap to go then. The sun sets in the background, beautiful stuff, headlights ablaze for these guys, and it's nice to have over the course of the evening these races go on and end with a night race. It's just a visual, nice visual spectacle for everybody as we see this battle between Giddings, McCarran, Hartley in there as well now, the bright yellow roll cage. Oh, Jordan's off. He's back on again. We saw him have a hell of a moment in the warm-up before this race actually, where he launched it across the gravel. Lovely little reflective strips on this MX5 as well, showing up in the dark there. iRacing have really upped their game with the lighting as well with that most recent update. It's not just the skies and things that they've sorted out, but other things where the cars actually do respond to the darkness very nicely, and the headlights. It's great to see. But this battle has closed back up, Tom, and like I said before, it's anyone's guess once again, but this is the final lap now, so these guys are going to get more and more feisty.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? We see an instant in the background. That's Jordan Giddings as well, and that was Rob Hartley, and I think Giddings has got Jacolette's round as well. Giddings has got an absolute meatball of a car trying to keep it going. Unfortunate for him as we look in, so they go pretty much 3 wide. Giddings gets it massively out of shape on the brakes, and it brings the rest of the other cars into it as well. So unfortunate for those guys because they were having a brilliant fight up until that point. I think it was my fight to watch of the race. But as we come around the carousel for the final time then, and it's the Swift Cooper Esports guys have done it on the two SimLab boys, Chaz. And I think if Jason Cooper can keep it all together, he might just have this one in the bag.
Yeah, he's got a nice gap now. It's just down to whether Luke Cooper can hold off the onslaught from Peter Van Gool and Jack McIntyre. But Swift Cooper Esports have really proved themselves since coming into the championship. They are not a team to be messed with. They're very, very quick, both of these guys. I know at least that Luke Cooper does race in real life. I believe he's won, I can't remember which championship it was. I was told by Dan Blake a while ago. But he's won a real life event at the Castle Combe motor circuit over here. So he's no slouch and he's got his experience in real life. But there's his teammate and I believe brother. I'm not going to assume that. Well, I kind of have already. But anyway, coming up over the hill. Jason Cooper then is going to make it a Cooper 1-2 over the line. Lights ablaze, fantastic stuff by these boys with the two SimLab cars, three SimLab cars actually. Jamie Ayres making it home in 5th, with Adam McNally in 6th for Excite Energy. McCarran does finish 7th despite that incident. Hampson 8th, Hartley is 9th, and Ben Mears is going to win the AM category after Giddings unfortunately got it wrong on the brakes into the left-hander. As we see these guys coming across the line, and that's Billy Rose and then Alan McCain. Nice and close over the line. But that was a lot more controlled, that race. Tom, a bit of action there with McDonald, Ververke and Hardy coming across the line. But yeah, really, really good to watch that. Fantastic night of racing, and what a way to finish it under lights as well. It's always nice to see.
Yeah, and what a start to the year it's been for these guys, and they'll be super happy with that. Couple of incidents in this race. There's only been a couple of incidents all evening. We haven't actually had any massive pile-ups that we had in Interlagos, and I think maybe when they did the AM series as well around Monza, there was a few massive shunts in that. But apart from that, it's been pretty chilled out racing here tonight. A lot of respect from the guys for each other, which is really nice to see. And congratulations to our race winners this evening. They've put in a lot of work for this, so I'm sure they'll be delighted.
Alex, your thoughts on that as well? It's been a really good night of racing so far, and that was a nice way to cap it off.
Yeah, nice way to bring back in 2019, I thought. Great meeting. I said we'd have a bit of everything, and exactly what we got. Just love Road America. That's, again, it's just delivered as a venue once more. So, yeah, the boys seemed a little bit more controlled out there than perhaps they left 2018. So maybe that's a good sign. We'll have to see where we turn up next week. Maybe they'll be back at their usual. So yeah, it just felt like there was a little bit more patience out there than what we'd seen some of the previous weeks. So which is always good to see.
Yeah, and you've got to think as well that might come from the fact that they know that there's such a strong slipstream. There's a bit of contact on the slowdown lap between these guys, but. Yeah, with the slipstream being about in such a strong manner on this track, you've got to sort of think that subconsciously everyone knows that they'll eventually get a chance on the straights. So, like I say, that patience did make a big difference, though, and hopefully some of the drivers will take something from that into the next rounds of the championship and maybe apply something to their driving style from it. But as you can see now, we have the results on the screen, Tom, if you'd like to do the honours for the fourth and final time tonight.
Yeah, so Jason Cooper and Luke Cooper round out the top two with a 1-2 Swift Cooper Esports finish. Congratulations to them, with Pete Van Gool and Jack McIntyre rounding out row 2 in the SimLab Racing cars. Jamie Ayres behind them as well for SimLab Racing, so a good last race for them in P5. P6 was Adam McNally and Nick McCarran, also for SimLab Racing in P7. Dave Hampson finished P8 with Rob Hartley in P9. Benjamin Mears wins your AM race in P10. Anwar Beryl Smith in P11. Rob Graham for Automac Knock Hill in 12th. Oscar Wilde or Kip Stevens in 13th. Alan McCain in 14th with Billy Rose in 15th. Lorne Murray in 16th for Automac Knock Hill. Roy Ververke in 17th, and 18th was Joe McDonald in the number 307 MX5. 19th was Carl Hardy, David Ayres in 20th, and Mikael Garcia in 21st. Anthony Ainsworth in 22nd. Michael Barry in 23rd with his teammate behind him for Result Clothing in 24th. Carl Jacquelet in 25th. And then your non-finishers were Jordan Giddings, unfortunate for him, who's having another sterling drive. Jeroen Ursum in 27th. 28th Max Wright, Alex Rivet, Brian Holmes, Steve Hefford, Tyler Lugo-Vickery, Jay Wright, and rounding out your race was Cesare Rizzo.
Smashing stuff. Thank you very much, Tom. It's been another pleasurable meeting for us. Great to watch. Great scrapping from the whole field. And, of course, very deserving winners tonight. we saw 2 drivers get what I believe are their first wins in this championship. And of course, they are well deserved. They've put a lot of effort in to get to the pace that they have now. And of course, we've seen a lot of drivers like that over the course of broadcast, and this, of course, Tom and working together as well. The likes of Dave Hampson, who took a win tonight, Alan McCain, he's always been there or thereabouts, and for him to finally make the breakthrough tonight, and for those guys to get that pair of wins that are well deserved, of course, it's just nice to see, and of course, it'll be a good confidence boost for them.
Yeah, it will be, won't it? And looking forward, I think they'll be able to go even further into that, and they'll have that confidence, as you say, to make their races better and really take the fight to the front running guys. So, yeah, from me as well, all the very best to all those guys who won tonight and all those guys that, you know, didn't get the results they wanted, but they'll be able to go forward and really take the fight to them next round.
I'm just trying to have a quick look at where we are next week, but I can't see the schedule for some reason. I'm having a bit of an issue. I don't know whether it's my internet being a pain in the backside, but having a bit of an issue with that. Just looking down into the interview waiting area, guys, and once again, it seems like we've not got anyone who wants to speak to us. It's going to be a bit of a lonely night for us, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the guys are just having a bit of a rest after that one, but no, it was some great racing, wasn't it? And sometimes they don't want to talk to us. Maybe you've scared them off there.
Monza, by the way, chap. Monza.
Oh well, if tonight was a slipstream fest, that certainly is going to be. It's going to be very, very enjoyable to see what comes of it there. We've done a few broadcasts at Monza before, actually, with the MX-5s. Tom, we did the Mondays MX-5 Cup, which was good fun. And hopefully with these guys doing it as well, it should be even better. We do actually have someone in the interview waiting area, so we'll bring him in now. We have Mr. Adam McNally of Excite Energy Esports. Adam, you had a bit of a decent evening for your guys, actually. Your championship's turned right around now, hasn't it?
I had a great night. For being a driver down, like I said, I had a great night. Especially Rob, having Rob in the team. Great having him aboard, especially race 1 where he's win. So I had to give him congratulations to him. Yeah,
we noted that he'd turned up, and of course, he's a very powerful figure within the iRacing community, is Robert. He's there's over 9,600 I rating. It's a hell of a driver to have in your team, and I imagine that installs quite a lot of confidence in you naturally when it comes to a race meeting.
Yeah, just sitting behind him, following him, you just think, how are you so fast? It's impossible to keep up with him. It's just on another level. So, like you said, great asset to have for the team. And all the rest was along with Brian and Anwar all drove great tonight. If it wasn't for an incident with Brian race 4 and Anwar getting spun race 1, we would have had 4 top 10s for all 4 of us. So, like I said, it's been a pretty good night for the team.
And of course, big haul of points for you as well with the overall championship in mind. Are you holding on to Rob for the rest of the season, or is it just a stand-in for tonight?
I think it was just a one-off. I would love to keep him for every race, but he just can't make Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
So it's a big shame. But
well,
if he can turn up, if he turns up and puts a performance on like he does tonight, then great.
Indeed. Well, it'll obviously help your championship fight going forwards, but you have still got a very strong lineup of drivers. I mean, I spoke also about Anwar earlier on, where I know that Anwar was looking to sort of break away from the service a little bit, but managed to entice him and keep him on, it seems.
He knows he loves the racing. He cannot resist these big grid sprint races, especially when he knows he's so fast as well. He's another driver to watch out for, especially when he's proper on it.
Yeah, he is a very, very quick driver, and of course, seeing that by taking pole for race 1. We're at Monza next week, which is another slipstreaming mecca for these MX-5s. Do you reckon that you'll get some good results there as well? Is it a track you're confident going to?
Yeah, I'm hoping we can have some great results there. We'll have to practice that draft train for qualifying, and like I said, hopefully we can get some more good results like we did tonight. We can help us in the championship, try and close that gap down again.
Well, we've seen from the usual teams that we see at the front, like the likes of SimLabs, Swift Group Esports, you guys have really been a strong force at the start of this championship. Obviously, it wasn't quite going your way, but you've really turned that around now, and hopefully we'll see that continue for you going forward. I mean, it seems to be working well together, so hopefully that continues for you, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much. I hope it does as well. We just keep working on that setup a bit, working together in the draft train. Helping each other get the best laps in qualifying. So that's pretty much half the battle really in these sprint races for race 1.
Yeah, definitely. Is there anyone you want to give a quick shout out to then, Adam, before you go?
As always, shout out to you lads for doing the broadcast, all the lads and lasses that sort out the BSR behind the scenes, to our sponsors, Excite Energy, Racing Mentor, Tom's Vehicle Detailing, Motorsport Days Live, and also Race Data Systems.
Cracking stuff.
And all our drivers as well, who put on a great show tonight.
Certainly did, and we did note that you guys were you were everywhere. Really, nobody could get away from you. Everywhere you looked, there was an Excite Energy car, and obviously that livery making a nice striking difference to it. So, all the best, Adam. Great to speak to you as always, and we'll see you at Monza.
Right, thanks for having us.
Adam McNally there, my favourite Scotsman, of course. That running joke has still not died. I will not let it die. Always good to speak to Adam. Tommy's very enthusiastic about what he does, and he does a great job of running the team, and they're all very, very sort of happy blokes to speak to all the time.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? They're a great team. Adam does a lot of work with them and for them, and he's what you come to expect from a driver that you want in your team. So yeah, props to him and props to Excite Energy as well. They've really had a great evening. So yeah, I think looking forward, I think if they carry on the way they're going, they could really put a hurting on the likes of SimLab and Swift Cooper Esports as well. So I think they're really ones to watch out for this championship.
Definitely, and a lot of strong teams coming through, Alex. We've seen quite a lot of changes to the sort of pecking order so far this season, and hopefully that momentum will keep shifting. Do you reckon that'll be the way it goes?
It's possible. I mean, obviously there was a little tweak to the car, so the guys are having to get a little used to that. But yeah, a few new faces in there, and it's good to see that the grid is quite mixed up now as far as the teams go, because Momo were runaway victors last season. They basically got it wrapped up by sort of quarter 3 of the year, hadn't they? So yeah, the way it's looking right now, we've got no idea how this is going to pan out come the end of the year. So, which is what we want, from a broadcaster's point of view.
Yeah, definitely, and it shall be very, very good to watch. It's been a pleasure working with you boys as always. Tom and Alex, thank you very, very much tonight, and thank you for everyone for watching on the iRacing Esports Network. It is a pleasure to be broadcasting and commentating for you guys. Next week we are, of course, at Monza, so don't forget to catch that on the Tuesday night once again. Thursday this week we are here again at Road America in the BSR Radical Series. That's bound to be a barrel of fun with the slipstream involved in those cars. And, well, from me, Alex and Tom, we wish you a very good evening, and we will see you next time. Thanks very much.
The following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.